It took a little longer than expected, but the Chiefs got their guy and have a brand new cornerback ready to go for 2019. Let's talk about Bashaud Breeland. Welcome back to RGR. This is Ryan Going Rogue, my channel about football, Chiefs, etc., etc. We are knee-deep in getting ready for the draft. I'm working hard on the Rogue Analytics draft guide for all the athleticism matrices that are going to come out and really show you about athleticism in this draft class as compared to each other and past draft classes. When it's released, I'll have a promo code for you, and you can check it out at rogueapc.com. Today we're talking about the cornerback position, and specifically Bashaud Breeland, because it did take a little bit longer than we expected. He was in camp last year and took quite a bit of hubbub at the time, to tell you the truth. And he was somebody they were definitely interested in because they brought him in, spent the entire day talking with him, and felt good about his fit within the system and within what they wanted to do. So much so that he was there all through the day, through the evening, went into the meeting rooms, got out to practice, still having been unsigned, and that's how strongly the team felt about his fit at the time. Now, he was injured, and so the signing didn't happen. He wanted a multi-year deal. The Chiefs were not interested in that. Because of the injury, I think mostly they were looking for a single-year deal. And so he went unsigned. He left camp, quite to the disappointment of a lot of Chiefs fans, and a guy that I thought fit well at the time. I was a little surprised, even with the injury history. But that happened, moved on, ended up signing in Green Bay and played not even half of a season, but played well when he did. Now, the differences are going to be a little bit stark, but he's a guy that's tall, long, aggressive, and has played well in the past, particularly in Washington, back with the Redskins when he was Kendall Fuller's teammate, but also last season with the Packers. And that's really what it comes down to, is when he's on the field, how well does he play? The injury seems to be past him, so I think that's something they can safely move on from and feel like they can start from day one and move forward. Now, I'll put a bunch of clips together at the end like I have been lately. It's just easier to string them together and do the voice work so that I can explain what's going on. But in the meantime, let's talk about fit and what it means. Again, long, tall guy. Not the smaller type that you would think this team might be looking for. Somebody like Steven Nelson. Definitely the opposite of Nelson. I think he outplayed Steve Nelson last year. He does have a little bit more volatility. He does get beat from time to time. He definitely has some things in terms of lateral agility, especially moving in boundary. On some routes, he gets caught up from time to time. We'll look at some of that. But also, he's a guy that can be multi-dimensional in terms of playing man or playing zone. And I think that's what's really going to be the determining factor. Kendall Fuller can play both. He can play both. Ward, I think, is more challenged when not playing man, but we'll see what happens with him there. I think what they're going to mean to do is allow him to be the base with Fuller. That's what I predict at this moment, just on paper, because we haven't seen him practice yet. And it allows him, like I said, the versatility to have two out there that can do it. Slide Ward in. When Ward comes in, slide Fuller in. And allows you to go three, which is, at this point, your base defense these days. But it also sets you up that you can go select a guy in the draft that you feel complements what you want to do going forward. He doesn't have to be so versatile. And we're going to talk about the draft starting next week, about prospects, guys that fit and what it means. And the thing that for Bashaud Breeland, being that base that can adapt, allows them to go after somebody that plays more zone, like a Murphy, or somebody who plays more man, like a Greedy Williams. And that's really going to be the telltale sign, because Breeland isn't giving anything away about what Spags wants to do, but I think the draft selections will. And again, what it means in the end is that it adds to the total number of DBs that you have that you can put out on the field. Now, Travarius Ward played well at the end of the season, but still has a ways to go. He has film out there too. So I think that what they're trying to do is double down and try to build that core up so that you can throw as many cornerbacks out there as you can when you have to go at empty sets, 4 wide in particular. I think a lot of teams are going to try to stress that given what they saw in film last season. So we'll see what happens in the draft, but for Bashaud Breeland, he's got a lot of things that he can do well, and we're going to take a look at some of them right now. We're going to start with him up here at the top in the slot. He's going to take the up man and get a little bit of a jam. Not much, just enough to touch him, but is able to follow through, track him down as he makes the crossing route, jumps in front of it at the last second, makes a nice pick here. Actually gets a little bit of a run back as well. When we look at it from the other angle, he's going to be just outside the screen here to the right. And as they come free, you're going to see he's going to have a hand on him, be in control, be close enough, and then make a play on the ball. It's a nice move from him. And in the second clip, he is again in the slot. He's across from Doug Baldwin in off man here. Going to give him a little bit of space, and watch the move from Baldwin. Sticks with him, keeps his hips where he can still maneuver and recover once that cut goes. Sticks with him, gets his head around, makes a play on the ball. This is what you have to have when you're playing man to the outside. And for a guy who's not played a whole lot of slot before, when he was in Washington, it was Fuller. This is a nice move. We'll see the same thing in the same angle as we come back to the back of it here. As the ball goes up, head around, makes a play. Now Breeland's an off man at the bottom against Adam Thielen. He's going to get caught off on this first move, looking a little bit inside, bites on it, and gets taken for a ride. Thielen can do this to a lot of people, but this is something that will happen from time to time. So that ought to give you an idea of what we're looking at with Breeland on this Chiefs roster, how he can compete, and what he can bring to the new defense. I think Steve Spagnuolo is going to like him a lot because I think you can give him an assignment and let him do it. I don't think you have to be too much worried about giving him a ton of help over the top or in a zone, and I think it allows Spagnuolo to go and do what he wants to do in terms of blitzing safeties, blitzing linebackers, creating some holes in the defense that he feels he can be filled with corners like Breeland and Fuller, and whoever else that they bring into this roster, because I don't think they're done. But right now, that's where we stand. We're going to have a look when they draft somebody, what that means to the rest of the defense. And rumor is the Chiefs are still out there trying to make an impact somewhere. Maybe that's in the secondary. If it is, we'll talk about it when it comes up. Make sure you check out the Rogue Analytics site as well as the RGR store. I've got some new things coming in there, so check that out. Thanks for all of your time. I'll be back on the live stream Monday night. Make sure you're here. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you then.